Gender is not binary, it's a spectrum. Being one of the best employers of LGBT plus community, IBM does not only appreciate the gender spectrum, we celebrate it. Very excited to take you through the LGBT plus inclusion journey at IBM in India. My name is Prachi Rastogi, the diversity and inclusion leader at IBM APAC. Let me take you through the first slide, which is actually the legacy of IBM. In 1984, we added the sexual orientation to the IBM's equal opportunity policy, which was actually introduced in 1953. And I'll not obviously take you through all the milestones, but the very important ones include the introduction of voluntary self-identification in IBM HR systems, which actually mean that anybody from the community can self-identify themselves on the tool. And that is how we use AI, how we use Watson to make sure to know how our efforts are actually increasing people from the community, how they are helping them come out at IBM. So this was introduced in 2006. And the new, the H-bar rainbow logo was introduced in 2017. And in India, we also introduced the gender affirmation surgery in 2017. One of the best employers for this community. It happened in 2018, 19, and this year too. With that, let me, okay. While I'm going to share how have all the efforts that we've done to foster inclusion for the community, how they've really affected the numbers, how they've impacted the numbers at the end. But let me take you through details of what we've done through and through to foster inclusion for LGBT plus community. So first, most important thing is leadership accountability. We really ensured that their skin is in the game. So you see video blogs, video pledges, written blogs by the leaders to ensure that we know internally and externally that our leaders abide by it, that our leaders are responsible for it. So their pledges are extremely important. They are shared internally and externally. The next important thing that we do is we share stories from people from the community and very active and bold allies. So this is one example. We shared videos, which was actually called Eye for Inclusion, where people from the community or very active allies shared their story of what was the point of epiphany for them, how did they change, and how did they really come out, or if they are allies, then what made them become such vocal allies for the community. Absolutely brilliant, this celebration, and I wanted to share this celebration pictures with you, because this is really the linchpin that we do not just accept the gender spectrum, we actually celebrate it. So you see the June Pride Month celebration, which was obviously not this year, it was last year, that we celebrated it with a yummy cake celebration, followed by, this is another picture from the anniversary of the Section 377 Red Dawn in India, where we celebrated it by inviting a lot of people externally and internally, and we had a dazzling panel discussion discussing subjects which are actually not openly discussed. So it actually expanded a lot of mindsets of managers, employees, and making our culture more open to what the mind's conditioning is. Another important thing that we do, and we do it regularly, periodically, with external partners who work a lot in this sphere, in this spectrum, the LGBT plus spectrum, and we focus on hiring people from them. And here's a testimony to that. Of course, I can't share exact numbers, but we have quite a few people from the community, especially from the transgender community. We have transgender people who we have hired, who are getting promoted to senior positions, and we take absolutely pride in that. This is another slide which shows our investment of being a sponsor, of being present at Out and Equal, Out in Tech forums, which are so important in fostering inclusion for the community. This is Kashish Film Festival, the Pune Film Festival, how we ensure that we not only sponsor them, but we also sort of invite filmmakers, invite actors who work for the cause, and we invite them to talk about their stories, their experiences, which again help us expand our mindsets. And also, once we see that somebody who's working so much for the cause is speaking so boldly about the subject, about being inclusive of people who may be different from us, it makes a huge lot of difference on how we feel about it. Okay, this is a very important slide. Here is what happens. We are a huge company. We are about 100,000 people just in India, and therefore it's really important that we have all the resources in one page. So this is a publisher page within IBM. People can go into this page and learn everything about the community, all the policies for the community, all the actions that you can take as an ally, all the benefits that we have for the community members, and how you can learn about the community and be more inclusive as a manager, as an employee, as a leader, and actually show it to others that this is how you do it. And not just learning programs, we actually have badges that IBMers can show externally and internally for inclusion. This is just another example. There are many times people don't, many of us don't know how to use pronouns, how to be inclusive of transgender people, and these are some of the trainings that we have on our learning page that people can go through. Okay, so very interesting, colorful slide that you see. This was during the June Pride month. We invited a lot of people, leaders internally, and a lot of people from externally, like Zainab Patel, like Sham Konur, Ashutosh Shankar, Simran Sheikh, people who are well known for their work for LGBT plus inclusion. They again came and talked to almost 8,000 of IBMers in a month, and they help us spread inclusion. This is very, very important about movie matinee. We at IBM strongly believe that movies are the cornerstones. They're the foundation of how our society is built, how people think, how we dress up, how we behave with each other. And therefore, it's so important to show movie and do a debrief on them and see how it impacts us. These are movies, visually they impact us. We listen to it, we see it, and see how they change, they completely transform the way we think. And that love is what matters, inclusion, embracement is what matters. And that that becomes even easier with a movie. Another important slide is that not only do we train managers, leaders, employees at IBM, we also train our vendor staff, because inclusion can actually happen. And actually it happens a lot more at water cooler conversations, or it could be near a toilet. And therefore it is really important for us to train our vendor staff. So that would include drivers, housekeeping, anybody who we know actively works in the IBM premises and should have basic qualifications about LGBT plus inclusion, and that does make a difference. I'm not going to take you through all the policies, but very important for you to see what are some of the things that we've done and probably you could do for LGBT plus inclusion is, of course, the equal opportunity policy, the medical and health benefits for same-sex partners, the gender affirmation treatment, which we started in 2017, and many of the IBMers have used it and have take a lot of pride in it. You could do that. We cover HIV treatment and the post-care for employees. In 2017, we also built inclusive washrooms for all genders. We have the voluntary self-identification, which I talked about earlier in the HR systems, which means we know how many people do we have in the community, and if they're increasing or decreasing, or at what level do we have them, because it's really important for us to have them at senior leadership roles. Basically, what it covers is that not only do we do policies, we also try and transform the ecosystem, which means having a business resource group where people from the community and people who are active allies for the community can get together, can decide on how we can stay engaged and what more can we do to foster inclusion for the community. We do a lot of workshops for microaggressions, for being okay with what you are, bringing your whole selves to work. And of course, a lot of reverse mentoring happens too. Some of our leaders, many of our leaders are actually getting trained from the LGBT plus members, which is called reverse mentoring. And it's really important to learn from them because they're to tell us about themselves, and this is the best way to learn about them. I thought this would be interesting for all of you to see, especially in 2019. What we did was we introduced the business travel policy, which included same gender partners as well, where they can travel with their child and a caretaker, and IBM takes care for their for the cost, the travel and stay cost for the child and the caretaker. This is for now for domestic travel for work in IBM, and it may get extended to international travel as well. And I talked about the inclusive washrooms in all IBM facilities, which has received great feedback. Inclusion awards to basically here employees choose their managers who've been most inclusive for them in various phases of their lives, and managers get rewarded. Not only do managers get rewarded, we also get those few managers to talk about their stories of how they are inclusive and how can other managers and leaders learn from them. We talked about the vendor staff training. We talked about how we do the video stories, the written blogs of IBMers of being inclusive, or how are we impacted if I'm somebody from the community, how am I impacted by somebody embracing me, by somebody being more inclusive of me. This is another timeline, and this is more for India. I'm not going to take you through every point, but some of the important points that you will see here is we're one of the best companies for multicultural women in 2019. We talked about the business travel policy that we extended to same-sex partners as well. We got the gender affirmation in 2017, and we were also one of the best employers for LGBT inclusion in 2018 and now in 2022. This is a key slide, and probably the last slide of my talk with you. Our pillars for D&I strategy, and this is not just in India, this is worldwide, basically it stands on three pillars: leadership accountability, employee experience, and external eminence. Leadership accountability, because it's business leaders who ensure that we hire people from a diverse community, we promote them on merit, and we retain them. We use AI quite a lot for that. We have dashboards that we publish, and we support business to hire, promote, and retain people from the LGBT plus community. So the point to be noted here is that it's not an agenda run by D&I or by HR. It's an agenda run by business. And what we do is we enable them. And if the question arises in your mind, how did we do it? It's by making sure that the topmost leadership talks about LGBT plus inclusion, and by making sure that leaders have LGBT plus inclusion and basically other diversity constituents as well in their performance appraisal, because it's really important that if the numbers go down or the numbers are looking up, it has to impact our leaders. Second most important is employee experience. How are IBMers feeling, especially who are from the community at IBM, and we make sure that their experience is spectacular so that we can hire more people in the company. External eminence, we are very vocal people. So when George Floyd got murdered, it was IBM leadership. Arvind Krishna didn't shy away from writing to the US Congress or taking down the facial recognition tool worldwide. So that is the level of bold steps that we take when it comes to inclusion. So I come to the end by saying that all these efforts lead to huge numbers. It has to lead to great data as well. It can't be just talk in the air. So in 2020, our allies increased by 25% because of everything that we did, especially in the June Pride month. And actually, it doesn't really rest for just in June. We actually spread inclusion workshops. We spread the work we do throughout the year. So increase in allies by 25%. We did a huge number of workshops on microaggressions, on how to bring your whole selves to work. It basically led to a lot of expansion in hearts and minds of people. And we did that through workshops, through discussions, through talking about subjects that are normally brushed under the carpet, through movie matinees, through making sure that leaders talk about it openly, through videos. It could be written blogs, and a lot of training material is shared with people. It's not just talks. People can actually do it on a self-paced mode. They can take time and download those learning programs, get a badge, display it, and be vocal allies. And we actually work a lot with external partners as well. And I also use this opportunity to thank them for the great work they've done for LGBT plus inclusion at IBM. What has it resulted in? It has resulted in an NPS score of 82%. And this was just in June Pride Month, one time in 2019, and a huge lot of efforts after that. 2019, we also had the increase in allies by about 30%. So overall, what I've tried to say is that take small steps, and this is what I'd encourage you to do. Having policies and programs is important, and one bit of it, having great discussions, inviting people from outside, opening your own mindset, helping others open their mindset, is a second bit of it. And the third very, very important pillar would always be to inspire people to be inclusive of themselves, because inclusion starts with I. And that's what Avtar's vision is as well. And that inspires us a whole lot. We work very closely with Avtar. And that is what we learn, that inclusion has to start with being inclusive of the dark and the light within. With that, thank you very much. And I'm very open to questions.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to begin by thanking Working Mother and Avtar team for giving me this opportunity to share our best practices at Tata Starbucks in the space of inclusion, diversity, and equity. Well, this space is vast and it's like a universe there. And we do have a lot of initiatives under this scope. But today I'm going to share our efforts around empowering women at Tata Starbucks with all of you. Before we talk about it, let's take a glimpse of the women participation in India's workforce. So more than 48% of our population are females, but our female labor force participation is only around 27%. So yes, there's a lot of work to be done, but what is great is that the opportunity ahead seems promising. If we go by the McKinsey report on advancing women equality and the World Economic Forum report, there's a prediction that by 2027, India's working age population would be around 20% of the global labor force. And what's even more interesting is that around 48% of this population would be women. So yes, the opportunity looks promising, but it's important to look at the challenges that lie ahead of us. We do have three key insights around challenges, and the first is low women participation in the applicant stage. So there are office jobs that are more preferable for women by the families compared to retail and cafe jobs. We do have job families like store development, projects, facilities, renovation, etc., which are male dominated. We've also seen that women applicants for senior leadership roles are lesser compared to male candidates. The other unique problem to our industry and the likes are the legal requirements around providing transportation to women when their working hours fall in the later day parts. Now, At Starbucks, we have high street stores that operate till around 1 a.m. We have mall stores that operate till around 11 p.m. We have 24 by 7 airport stores. And so, with this challenge, it becomes impossible for us to deploy women at the night shifts. The third challenge is around exits. And as we all know, the three M's, which is maternity, mobility, and marriage, still remain as strong reasons for women to exit the workforce. So while we have these challenges, what is unfortunate is through the pandemic, these problems have only got aggravated. We have the Oxfam India that estimates economic loss from women losing their jobs to be around $216 billion, knocking off 8% from the country's GDP. The other fact remains that female employment in April was around 61% of the pre-lockdown yearly average, whereas for men this was 71%. So yes, I think with all this information with us, it is more important than ever for our organization and others to focus on advancing women representation in our workforce. Just to set some context, so Tata Starbucks celebrated its 8th-year anniversary this October, and we have now 201 stores across 14 cities pan India. So that is the scale that we operate in. Coming back to women representation, we've seen an increase from 16% to a 28% over the last 5 years. And the road ahead is challenging as we commit to a 40% women representation by the end of 2022. Now, whenever we talk about balanced gender diversity, we do have organizations that present business cases to justify its significance. At Tata Starbucks, we believe that having a balanced gender diversity is the right thing to do, and there is no conflict between doing the right thing and growing our business. So coming to our fundamentals, which is strengthening women representation. When we make hiring plans, traditionally it was governed by the store openings, attrition projections, and projections around career progression moves. Now it has changed, and it has changed for the good. So our hiring plans are governed not only by the number of open positions, but also by the talent mix. So we have female representation targets defined by stores, by cluster, by band, and for the bench roles. And all of this is governed and tracked every month and owned by our leadership. In addition to this, we also engage with women forward colleges and skill building institutes. And I'm very proud to share that we have doubled our female applicants even through this pandemic. So while there is transparency and accountability around targets, we also need to act with intent. We have two enablers here. The first is flexible employment. So we empower our partners to not only select the days that they want to work, but also the number of hours that they want to work each day. We also have a program called Brew of Balance, which I'm going to talk about in a while. So when you visit a Starbucks store, you would observe that we don't have uniform footfalls throughout the day. We have peaks, shoulder peaks, and a plateau that enables us to embrace both full-time and part-time talent. We saw the scheduling challenges because of which we cannot focus on improving female representation in our full-timer talent beyond a certain threshold. And so we decided to focus on our part-time segment there. So when it comes to part-time employment model, we started mapping the kind of talent profiles that would fit in. And we saw women after their maternity breaks wanting to come in part-time roles. We had women who were pursuing education who wanted to come in part-time roles. And we had women who'd been on career breaks who wanted to restart their career in part-time roles. And hence we realized that it's important for us to expand this reach. And we announced the Brew of Balance program. So most of our hirings happen through referrals, and we told our partners that in case they refer homemakers seeking second career opportunities, then they would earn attractive and higher referral bonuses. So yes, this was a program anchored around equity, and whenever we have such programs, we communicate, and communicate. So we convey our the why, we convey the purpose, the how, and the inspiration. The picture that you see over there, she's Tejal. In her earlier organization, while working, she got married, she had a child, but she had to quit because she was not able to give time to her family. After a while, when she joined us, we offered her a part-time role so that she's able to balance her personal and professional priorities. She's seen she's seen a good career growth, and today she's leading our Indiranagar store in Bangalore as a proud partner. So we do have many such stories at Tata Starbucks, and this program has been a success for us. Coming to the next segment on all women stores, well, I'm very excited and proud to share that today at Tata Starbucks, we have 3 all women stores, 2 in Mumbai and 1 in Delhi. Well, why this concept? So a few years back, I was in conversation with a store manager and a high performing store manager. And she mentioned to me that she's not disclosed to her family that she works in a cafe environment and leads a store. So in a market that has stigma attached to a barista role, that has concerns around women representation in workforce, it's important to make a statement. So with our all women stores, we are able to have a wider reach in driving awareness and in instilling pride in our women as they serve the Starbucks experience to our customers in their green aprons. I'd like you all to hear Kirti. She's our store lead for our first all-women store at Tata Starbucks, Shivaji Stadium in New Delhi.
Hi, my name is Kirti Sharma and I am a 2-year proud partner. Currently, I am leading the 100% women partner store, Shivaji Stadium Metro Station store. I am a proud coffee master as well. I want to share, I did my hotel management from Army College, Bengaluru, and I was the first female in my family who went outside of the city to pursue my graduation degree. And I was the first female as well who started working in my family. I have already broken so many stereotypes in my journey, and now I got the opportunity to lead this 100% women partner store. I am looking forward to support all my women partners to grow into their journey. Thank you so much.
मैं एक सर्विसमैन हौलदार रोहतास सिंह, मेरी बेटी ने AIHM बेंगलुरु से कोर्स किया, टाटा स्टारबक्स ज्वाइन की। टाटा स्टारबक्स का नाम हमने पहले भी सुन रखा था, और जो एक चिंता थी कि भाई नाइट शिफ्ट में काम कराएंगे, लेकिन उन्होंने हमें पता चला कि वुमेन से नाइट शिफ्ट नहीं कराते हुए जनरल ड्यूटी कराते हैं, तो काफ़ी खुशी हुई और एक चिंता सी हटी। दूसरा, जब उन्होंने एक जो ऑल इंडिया के अंदर मेरे ख्याल पहला ये स्टोर्स है जो कि वुमेन्स चलाती है, तो हमें बड़ी खुशी हुई कीर्ति को उसको लीड करने के लिए मिला। तो ये उनकी बहुत ही काबिल तारीफ जो था स्टेप था, और मैं एक मैसेज देना चाहूँगा कि भाई ऐसी और भी कंपनियाँ हों जो स्टारबक्स के कदम पर चलें, जिससे हमारी बेटियों का हौसला बुलंद हो। धन्यवाद।
Moving to our next segment, which is inclusion. Well, talking about diversity without inclusion is futile, and we do have few initiatives in this space. One such initiative is the Women Impact Network, through which women are able to reach out to each other and learn from each other's experiences and a lot of common challenges that they face. So there we do workshops and engagements around emotional and physical wellness, personal branding and leadership, and balancing personal and professional space. We also have an interesting initiative around recognizing a diversity and inclusion ambassador. So we leverage our Facebook Workplace platform to invite inspiring stories in the D&I space. And while we celebrate all, we do a screening process through which we identify and recognize one ambassador each year. It's a way for us to encourage our partners to lead by these values and behaviors. So yes, I think these were a few initiatives that I wanted to share with you today. I'm going to leave you with a short video clip that shows our accomplishments in the space of empowering women. Thank you so much for joining in, and have a great day.
Details with us, that would be really, really helpful.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked such a question. Well, Tata Starbucks, as you would know, has the privilege of having two great parent companies. So we've got Tata Consumer Products on one end, and we've got Starbucks Coffee Global on the other end. So from time to time, we do believe in unlocking the potential of our women talent. And there are programs wherein we identify key women talent, and we partnered with both these organizations to be able to explore how we could help them on their mentorship journey. So there have been active key talent mentorship programs around women leaders in the past, and we are engaging in fact, few more, and on the verge of rolling out one next month. So it's an ongoing effort, and for us, and yeah, that's what we believe in.
That absolutely sounds like the best of both the worlds for women employees at Tata Starbucks. So Prachi, we do have another question for you, which is from Apurva Karandikar. As millennials are more open about their gender, do you run any special program for campus hiring at IBM?
Brilliant question, Apurva. As millennials and Generation Z are more open to about their gender, about their sexual orientation, we are getting the organization ready for them. So what we do is we train our managers, leaders to ensure that they understand inclusion is a business imperative. They understand that we need to have people at senior roles from diversity constituents. Having a special program for campus, absolutely. We have tie-ups with the external partners, external vendors who specialize in this kind of hiring, not only for LGBT plus people, but people with disabilities or women or any other diversity constituent that we time to time work on. So yes, we ensure that we have enough transgender people in the company and in positions that matter. We have people across the spectrum from LGBT plus people. Not only do we hire them, we also prepare the environment for them, because hiring is one thing and it's easy, but having a great employee experience is equally important. Retaining them is equally important. And as I said, getting them at the right role in decision-making roles is very important. So the answer is yes.
Great, great. We have another question, which is about retention of women employees. And Nabamita, I would like you to answer, give your perspectives related to that. How do you retain women employees, and what are the strategies that you're adopted? And after that, Prachi, I would like to hear your perspectives on this as well. Although you did speak about LGBTQ+. Over to you, both of you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks again for that question. I think a part of my presentation did cover that, and we see, majority of the exits happening because of the 3 M's, as we call it, which is maternity, mobility, and marriage. Right. So from time to time, I think we have a strong women impact network where we have conduct a lot of open forums where we invite not only women, but sometimes even our male colleagues. And we discuss all the sensitivities around these three factors and how it's important for women, to, be financially independent and not step back because of these hindrances that come in their way. And I think apart from that, there's a lot of story sharing that happens. So especially the women leaders across functions, they share their experiences. And I think that acts as a big source of motivation for the young mothers, who enter, or somebody who's entering a marriage, somebody, who has a spouse relocating to cope with with those situations. So I would say that again becomes one form of retention. Apart from that, I think it's that has so many enablers to support them, even on prioritizing their professional and personal priorities. So we have an option where they can, engage in flexible employment at any point in time in their careers. We have options where, they can take a break in case they'd like to. So we have many such policies and programs and enablers that empower them to make their own decision. And I would say that these are a few of those. And of course, we celebrate inclusive leaders. I think the culture is something that we started this Avatar session with. And I would say that plays as a great support system for them to stay on with us.
Thank you so much, Navamita. Prachi, any thoughts on that? Or would you like to move on to the next question?
Adding everything to what Navamita said beautifully. I mean, all these programs and policies. Most important thing, the only thing I want to add here is that we really want women to come more and more in the senior roles. Early segment, mid segment, great. We hire, we retain, we have wonderful women, enough women. We want more and more women. I mean, we're not doing badly at all. We are one of the best companies for women in IBM, says Avatar for the 5th time this year. So, but we really want more women at the senior most positions. And for that, we do a lot of work. We do a lot of work with Avatar. We do a lot of work with the IIM Bangalore work. And most importantly, we ensure that leaders, it has to hurt everyone, every business leader, if they're not enough diverse, if there's not enough gender balance at the top. And that makes a whole lot of.
Absolutely. So I have 2 last questions. One is addressed towards Prachi and the other would be addressed towards Navamita. Prachi, the question to you is, while talking about being an ally, you spoke of external eminence. Can you please further elaborate on the same in terms of real-time actions?
All right, Vaishali, thank you. See, there are 2 ways to be an ally. One is I be an ally and be non-discriminatory kind of a person. And another is I need to be an active ally. And allyship for us is a verb, really, doesn't really end. So one is an ally, I'm quiet, I won't really do anything, I'm not really an upstander, I'll just be quiet and yeah, I'm okay with whatever happens. Another is these times are not to be that passive an ally. External eminence means you need to be bold, you need to be talking in public, you need to be talking where it really matters. If you see somebody being discriminated against, you stand up and raise your voice and say, hey, this, why did you say that? Why did you do that? Can you just explain? I mean, not being aggressive or mean towards the other person, because nobody is really ill-intentioned. People do stuff because of probably unawareness. So there's no need to become a missionary of inclusion. But what is really important is that we tell people with a lot of warmth and love and start questioning that. And therefore, it's really important to be an ally and a bold one. And external evidence means that you start talking in forums, on social media channels. I'll give you an example. I mean, Arvind Krishna, our CEO, so proud of him. When George Floyd got murdered, I mean, he was so open in writing a very strong worded letter to the US Congress and giving our help that we can through AI and Watson, and saying, this is how we could fight discrimination. And another thing that he did immediately was to drop facial recognition tools across the world at IBM. So these are bold steps that each one has to take.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are at the top of the hour. So, Nabamita, we'll take the last question to you offline. So, thank you so much once again, dear Prachi and Nabamita, for all these beautiful insights. We have come to the close of this breakout session. Thank you so much, dear delegates.